is called Self, and I have performed this one before, so I'm going to do it again because I like it. In 3rd grade, a boy on the bus called me fat. And for the first time, I looked in the mirror and saw something other than who I was. Saw not a person, but an animal, an object, drew dotted lines in my mind, dividing my body into pieces of meat. I did not yet understand that beauty is an opinion. I was under the impression that everything was quantifiable. I was under the impression that I was quantifiable. I was under the impression that the number on a scale could define me. In 3rd grade, a boy on the bus called me fat. And since then, I was convinced that every compliment was laced with sympathy. And since then, I was convinced that I would never amount to anything because my waist was not small enough to fit in the tiny space that society provided me. I remember the first time a boy called me beautiful. I said thank you and smiled, but in my head it translated directly into nice tits! Because I could not comprehend the idea that anyone could see me as anything more than the parts of my body. And I wanted so bad for someone to look at me as though my eyes were made of glass and they could see inside the soul I was never sure I had. But even if that had happened, I doubt I would have noticed. I was too busy hating every girl an ounce lighter than I was. I was too busy staring in the mirror and hating who I was. I was too busy hating. Luckily, I have outgrown that. I have learned that my weight only makes me harder to push around. I have learned to love my body, to love each curve, each roll of fat, each stretch mark as though it were a line in a love poem I wrote to myself so I would never forget that I matter. And I have learned to see things that so many people make themselves blind to. I see girls stick fingers down their throats, and I gag to think that they would rather taste the contents of their stomachs than face the sting of your judgment. I see girls whose wrists stick out like knives they used to cut away at the pieces the world perceives as imperfection. I am disappointed that we are not better than this. I am disappointed that we cannot see past this. I am disappointed that we can't comprehend the idea that beauty isn't found in the gap between your thighs. I am disappointed that we have hurt so many when all we have to do is open our eyes.